Good evening, Keepers of the Cash. As you saw, we were having some fun backstage, and I queued up the wrong intro, so we just went right into the real one. But hey, what you gonna do? How is everyone doing tonight? It is great to see you all. Thank you for joining us, and of course, my co-host this evening, none other than Canadian royalty himself, Mr. Mark Andrews. Mark, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing really, really well, Gary. I don't know about the royalty part, but I'm doing quite well, thank you.
Well, you know, usually I got Steve White slumming over here.
Well,
so.
yeah, you know when.
There, now we can both get our hey you asshole messages from Steve.
Yeah, we will.
And of course, our guest of the hour, none other than Tate Prime. Tate, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty well.
It is great to have you on as a first-time guest.
Thank you. It's good to
of
be
the
on.
1011. You were on as a guest before,
Yes.
but that was in promoting your book, The Shift, which fully funded. Congratulations.
Yeah, man. Let's go. It's it's pretty amazing.
But it's then I knew I had to get you on more. But as we like to do, give the quick 2 minutes who you are, where people can find you. I'll go say hi to the audience, and then anyone else that's joining us as they're getting notifications, I'll give them a quick tip of the hat. But it's going to be all about you in just a few minutes.
Cool. So, my name's Tate. I go by Tate Prime on YouTube and Instagram. Instagram's the best way to find me. It's Tate Prime, all one word. I don't always get back that day, but I will get back to you. I just I found this community like a lot of other people did, during times of COVID when we were all looking for companionship and things to do. The comic book community, I mean that.
Or not go crazy at home.
Basically, yeah. Yeah. I mean, luckily I'm already crazy. So that I was prepared for it.
Right.
Got back into comic book collecting since I got out in about 96, 97 when the bottom fell out. I was like, no, I'm not going to collect comics anymore because they're not worth anything. And so, but then they were worth something, and I really liked a lot of the new stuff coming out, and so I jumped back in.
So, were you collecting for worth or for reading?
At first, it was for reading, and then I started selling. I started selling on YouTube auctions, and did that for a couple years, and finally jumped out when I realized that the fun had gone away, and I kind of started looking at everything at value. So I retired and I'm back to collecting what I want. I'm currently working on getting a copy of every issue that was released by Ripoff Press.
Nice.
So which did Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers and Megaton Man and stuff like that.
So you got some eclectic taste in there too.
Yeah, and I grew up in Santa Cruz, California, which is we're about an hour and a half below San Francisco, and Ripoff Press was a San Francisco imprint, so we got a lot of those books at my LCS when I was
nice.
And yeah, I love them. They're silly, funny books. A lot of hippies working on them, a lot of punk rockers working on them. But it's kind of given me that love of collecting again back.
Kind of an underground flavor to them.
Very underground, very low print runs, very many print runs. So you're collecting and you're like, oh crap, now I need to buy the seven printings of this one book. So
and it's funny because people think that the big two and also companies like Image and Dynamite do a lot of second, third printings. They got nothing on the underground community, which was just redoing those, especially like some of the early crumbs and stuff like that, where things are like 11th, 12th, 13th printing, and you're running out of different ways to do a different color code.
And they didn't. I think a big part of that was they didn't have the money to do a big print run, so they were doing let's get 1,000 out, and I have a feeling they put the money they made from those thousands into another printing.
Right.
Same thing with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know it didn't go up quite as high, but it definitely was underground when it first came out.
It was, and that's when I read them, when it was a serious book.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me how many people don't know how dark and serious the Turtles were when they started. They only remember it from the cartoon, which kid.
Right.
And I was never a fan of them after that, but that first Mirage run was so good.
Yeah, I just reread it recently.
White one's amazing.
Yeah, I reread it recently, and I had forgotten how dark it was.
I know. I had them, and I let someone borrow them,
Oh no!
and they ended up getting sick and all over them. And like that's the only place you could go. You had to go on the books. Yeah,
there's no coming back from that. So.
Right. And I'm like, no, you just throw them out. And and then I stopped loaning stuff out as much.
Yeah. It used to be a big thing in collecting was loaning books.
Absolutely. You used to loan out boxes of books.
Yeah. Your friend would come over with a big old stack of books, and you go through them, and you go, okay, here's your box. And then a few months later, you get your boxes back, and it was. There's some things I'd love to come back, and that would be one. Doing actual trades as opposed to just selling, would be really fun, because that's something else we used to do.
Well, it's tough now because I kind of turned into Gollum with my collection. Keep it secret, keep it safe. I'm that old guy now.
Yeah.
Hey,
you're like,
on the old guy crap.
Yes.
Hey, I'm not. And you know what? And just people may think I'm a little younger than I am, but I turned 50 this last year, so I'm not a young guy by any means. So
you're still the youngest on this show right now.
Okay,
now you are.
That happens very rarely.
The nice thing about this community, though, Tate, is like you talk about swapping, like the stuff we send each other in the mail. It's pretty amazing. Like Gary was just talking about a mug, but you get, like I'll get a package all of a sudden from somebody that's got some books in it, and you reciprocate, and it's an A-OK kind of thing, and it's still there. It's just not quite, but
yeah, and I don't know. Some people have different outlook on YouTube. Some people they don't think that we make real connections or or stuff like that, but we do, and so I think it's. I don't know. I'm going to be doing it with Matt over at Heroes for Hire. Me and him are going to do a trade. He's got some rip-off press books I want. So
nice.
From his dad's collection. So yeah, it's just it would. I don't know. It's just something that we used to have, and I've been thinking about bringing back grab bags instead of doing a mystery box, doing a grab bag of $25 shipped for 10 books or something. And, you just get a random books, and because it's something I used to love as a kid.
Oh yeah,
opening up a book and going, "Holy crap! I've never seen this before," and now it's my new favorite comic. So
yeah,
nice. Well, hey, let's say hi to the audience, and we'll come right back to you.
Absolutely,
nice. So first in this evening was actually we got Joe, Erotic Comics.
Hey, Joe.
And of course, our thoughts and prayers are out with Las Cruces and what's going on with him. It's not our business to tell, but James, we miss you. Hopefully you're back soon, sir. You're a great member of our community, and all of us are thinking about you every day. We have Mr. Mark Andrews saying hi to everybody. Paul from Psychedelic Comics, who I'm going to keep whittling down until he makes an appearance on the show. He's shy. Yeah. Jerry the Jitterbug, one of my all-time favorite people. Good evening, Jerry. Great to see you, buddy.
Hey, Jerry.
Brad Wellbore.
Brad.
Another great supporter and another great community member. How you doing, Brad? And we got Ruby G. Just great community people tonight. Calm, cool, collected. Ruby G. One of the first people that subscribed and watched my channel. And so Ruby's been a subscriber for years.
Nice.
Back then, he was Ruby G.
Yeah.
Ruby G.
There we go. And Mr. Kenneth Bird. Good evening, Kenneth. Great to see you, sir.
Hey, KB.
We have Marcus, Circumstances. Good evening. And, of course, after this show, because it's Tuesday, you want to head on over to his channel and watch FOC and Chill. And Mark, another great supporter in the community. And someone who's got your back when you need someone to have your back. A great supporter.
Yeah.
And Hall Yeah Comics, who just confirmed that he would love to be a guest on the show. So I'm setting it up with him. And we'll get to have him on as a first-time guest.
Nice.
And I subscribe every day. That implies that he unsubs every day.
Does he?
Brad.
Brad, come on, man.
Right?
I know Gary can be irritating, but really, you know.
I don't even think it's a personality. I think it's the face. I think he's like, yeah, I can't take any more of that. That's just, I'm gonna
Well, I
have
had
to.
a hard time when you shaved that off. I was going,
I have a hard time just every day, shaved or unshaven. But yeah,
No, I'm with you there, Gary. So
not having the goatee is not a good look for me. Definitely, I've had this for so many years now. I look so awkward with it. Steve White. Oh, good. He
Hey,
just
Steve.
got here, so he didn't hear all the crap
Hey,
we were
Steve.
talking about him when the show started.
good.
Steve, do not hit the rewind. But of course, and as other people are getting their notifications and popping in, I'll give them a quick tip of the hat. But Tate, we're going to make you big, sir, and give you the stage. So start us out with your first record, sir. But first of all,
yeah,
how fun or hard was it for you to pick out 12?
nearly impossible. I finally did it like right at the last minute while we were sitting backstage. But I do have a box of 60 in front of me in case I need to pull, you know, so and that's what I whittle it down to. I've got way more records than comics, but
Good. Well, I guess in another month or two we're going to have you back on for another one then.
yeah, it'd be great. So the first one I'm going to start off with is a record that shows you the similarities between vinyl and comics. Is going to be Lateralis by Tool, but as you can tell, it's foil.
Yeah.
So records, it's not just comics. It's records. It's,
Wow.
Yeah, they're in the gimmick game too, huh?
Yeah. But this is my favorite band of all time, so I had to start off with them.
Nice.
Yeah, I've seen them 7 times. Got all their vinyl except for one, which is now about $900. So I won't be getting that one.
See, I'm really upset with myself, Tate, because back in the day, this was early 90s, I probably had about 15 to 20 underground, like, Kiss records that were, you know, just, they were made.
Yeah.
And of course, they had prints on the records. Each one was either a different color, had a picture on it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an official release.
Yeah, I've definitely got some like that because as humans, I think over time stuff gets lost in moves or like break up with a girlfriend, or there's all different, like that's how I lost my original comics. Is I had a girlfriend that was unfaithful and I didn't even want to see her, so I just said donate them. I was
wow.
I don't,
could have donated her.
Yeah, hey, if I could, I would have. So,
sorry, that was hard.
Like, they're very eclectic here. I just tried to, again, I've got tons more, but this is my favorite. I guess we call them oldies still. I don't know, but is Come a Little Bit Closer by Jay and the Americans.
Wow.
And you guys probably, even if you don't know it, you know the song. Like if you hear it, it's just, and this is the only way that I could find it.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I think there is an original record, but I think it's up near 100. And again, I'm not that kind of collector, so
right.
Well, I know real expensive.
The vinyls get pricey.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, new like suggested retail is $35 now.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Everyday album. If it's got foil or if it's a double or if it's got any perks to it, it's I
remember I used to get really mad having to pay $7 or $8 for a new cassette or record.
Yeah, well, remember how bad we freaked out when CDs came out and they were 15? We were like, "What is going on?" Like, this is another one of my favorite bands and probably one of my favorite album covers of all time. Everyone kind of knows it.
Oh, nice.
This is Sublime, 40 Ounces to Freedom, and with the sperm sun. I don't know if you know it, but it's not actually a sun. It's all different. It's there's a whole bunch of weird lore behind this cover.
Oh, I do not know the lore behind the cover. Fill us in a little bit.
Yeah, well, the artist worked with Sublime on like everything up to this album and maybe even the album after, and he wanted to create creations of life, like a lot of artists have done.
Right.
And so what he did is he created the sun. Certain parts of it people say are sperm. I'm not so sure about that, but yeah, and there's just a ton in it. There's like a, let's see here if I can get that. There's a skeleton as the nose and a devil and an eye, and it's all.
Yeah.
So it's one of my favorite just images in music. It's just a beautiful, beautiful image.
Cool.
So, but again,
kind of there was a golden age. I can't think of the issue right now of a comic book that was like that. That had the skull, and there's all this other stuff kind of coming out of, like, pictures within pictures within pictures. Those are really cool and cool to see.
Yeah, it's neat when because to me, yeah, collage kind of art. It's not quite collage, but they use collage, the theory. So again, I tried to keep this very like spread out. Wanted you guys to get a little taste of what my music tastes are, and it's very eclectic. Because here is Billie Eilish's first album.
Mm.
And her first two albums are absolutely amazing. This was before any of her big hits. Even though there are hits on the album, this was before. And this album is, see if I can read that, if my old eyes will let me read that. Don't smile at me. So, yeah, I like, as long as music is good to me, I listen. Like when I was younger, I was very much, I went through a punk phase and I went through a metal phase and a hip, and I just listened to those musics. But as I got a little older and being able to go, you know what, I'm not in a genre anymore. So it's just basically, yeah, if something sounds good, I'm all over it. And
that reminds me too, like you showed that, like none of her hits, right? A lot of times when I like an artist, some of my favorite songs of theirs, no one's ever heard. It's just like B tracks or just random tracks on their things. Some of the music I listen to every day is just things that didn't make radio, and I think it's some of their best stuff. I'm like, why didn't they ever release this?
Yeah, I actually have a thing where I get really tired of the hits that people put out. So then I'll go and like a band here is Blind Melon from the 90s, right? They had that song No Rain, where it was played every 10 minutes, right? And I was like, God, I hate these guys. They're horrible. And then I listened to the album. The rest of the album is a masterpiece. Like, so yeah, you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff if you don't open up a little more.
I remember too, like, I've always been a big Prince fan, but everyone loves the album Purple Rain, right? But I think one of my favorite albums is Controversy. It's one of his first ones, and that album's amazing.
Yeah. Prince is a perfect one because I think all of his hits, to me, I'm not a big fan of. But,
I like him, but he released so many albums in a short span too. Like I have one called Crystal Ball. It's a 3 CD set. No one even know that ever came out. He did a Black album way before Jay-Z ever did. It's just 8 tracks on it. Fantastic.
Yeah, and the thing is, what's really neat about he was so prolific that they're still releasing albums from his unreleased stuff. And
he had a vault full of music he never let out.
Yeah, he didn't want to let it out.
A literal vault. When you think about a vault, like in a movie where they're robbing it, imagine that, but just unreleased tracks by Prince.
Yeah,
and then he wrote half of the songs that everyone loved.
Right, or that was a hit for somebody else, like Manic Monday for the Bengals, right?
Yep. So this one here I'm going to go with is please. I hope he doesn't quit. He's been saying for years he's going to quit the rap persona, but this is Childish Gambino.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's funny, and
he's funny. He's actually a really talented rapper. This is another foil one. As you can tell, this is a big one.
Yeah.
This Yeah, let's I'll go ahead and pull it out of the sleeve. Like, I love stuff like this. Like, he
And we
created
never got to see him as the Prowler from those Spider-Man movies.
but he
Oh,
literally
cool.
it's a book, and it's all his lyrics, the way it's like a play and lyrics and the way he writes and stuff. I know you can't see it that well, but yeah, big old like record sized book. It had that and then a double album, you know,
Nice.
and it's just the people that put the thought into records. Like, these are the sleeves,
Oh, those are cool.
and they're absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so it's like people that put the thought, and they're like, well, let's make this an experience. Because at this point, you know, record collecting is a big game.
Right. Well, and not only that, though, you don't, I mean, as much as I buy everything digital now because it's just easier, but, you know, there's something about having something physical that people put a lot of love and care into and know what it means to the people that buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it will, because like growing up, I've collected records for years. But growing up, a lot of the records that were coming out in the 80s and stuff, they kind of got rid of the gimmicks.
They did.
They stopped doing gatefolds for a long time. And I was like, God, it was just before my time. I love it. And luckily, some people are bringing it back. And
yeah, there used to always be something in the record. There was either posters or there was the lyrics, there was pictures, there was, you know, and then it was just, as everything shrunk down, all of that stuff disappeared, right?
Right. And yeah, and now it's coming back, which I love, because I love physical media. All my comics I read digital. But if I like a comic, I'm still going to want it in my collection.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so it's like, and digital is just because I have diabetes, so my eyes have started to fail.
Mm.
You know, it's just something that happens.
He said he thinks he was in the Martian movies.
Yeah, he was the mathematician. Genius.
Oh yeah, and he did. Yeah, his show Atlanta on FX is so good. Just, you know, it's a little bizarre, but it shows kind of what they deal with in that industry and stuff. So
cool.
Yeah, this one I'm gonna pass on. Let's see. So okay,
this already changing it up.
Yeah, already changing it up. I just saw one. I go, I have another one I can put in that place. So this to me is, I love soundtracks, movie soundtrack. I like orchestral, but I love like when they put together just a really good artist soundtrack where you've got either one artist doing multiple songs or tons of different artists doing each one.
Yep.
And this is absolutely one of my favorites. This is Black Panther.
Nice.
This is Kendrick Lamar's Black Panther. It's got all the music from the movie, but also to me, some of Kendrick's best music. His music was just so heartfelt because it was tied into, you know, it's tied into the emotions of that movie.
Yeah.
And all the emotions we were feeling when Chadwick passed, you know, and so, but yeah, he's got SZA on here. He's got Schoolboy Q, Khaled, all sorts of people. It's just double album. And if you want an album that's good from beginning to end, this is a soundtrack. This is it.
A nice simple design too.
Yep. Yeah. You got the Panther. But this one is, I'm not going to do this with all of them because it would take forever, but it is a gatefold double album.
Oh, nice.
With images from the movie.
Yep.
And just it's just to me, being a white guy looking on the inside, there's something very special about that movie and this soundtrack. A link to some Black culture, which is, you know, I'm always looking for culture because so yeah, it's fan freaking tastic.
It is cool.
Nice.
So
nice.
Let me know if I'm going
too fast. I like soundtracks.
What's that?
What's that?
I said, as Gary knows, I like soundtracks.
Yeah. Oh, same here.
I
like ones that like you said, Tate, that feature artists, but I also love like orchestrals, like orchestras, like you need Ennio Morricone or
John
Basil
Williams,
Palladora.
Can't
Yeah.
beat that.
One of my all-time favorite like orchestral soundtracks is the original Batman soundtrack.
Yep.
Oh,
Excellent.
the Danny Elfman.
Because you're sitting there and all of a sudden you're getting pumped and you're like, why am I getting pumped? Because it's going, it's coming in slowly and building, and
But it also had a great Prince soundtrack too.
it did that, and those are my favorite movies that you get both.
Yep.
Right.
Because a lot of people hate on that Prince soundtrack.
No, I love it.
I don't know why. It's between that and Labyrinth are two of the best like musician stepping in to create a soundtrack. Like it's Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
So this next one here was a pretty big gift for me. A friend of mine got me this for my birthday, and it blew my mind. This is what I would say is a mint copy of the first edition. I know you can't really see.
Can too.
The Wall.
Yep.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah, everybody knows that cover.
Yeah, them and Tool are tied as my favorite bands of all time. Very similarities between them. They both have some like psychedelic stuff, but just to have like a mint copy of the original Wall is pretty special.
Yeah,
and
that is a lovely copy.
Yeah, and it's one I've never played it. I don't know if I can.
Yeah. I don't want to put a stylus on that. I can't.
Have you
ever got a record graded yet? I'm just kidding.
I have not. No, I haven't. And I do. Who does? Are there people that do it?
Oh, probably.
I mean, I imagine so.
Yeah, because you could do video games, records.
You can do it.
I haven't, and I'm not.
Someone will take your money and put a grade on it, Tate.
Right? And put it in a plastic shell so I can never listen to it again.
Yeah, which would just be tragic.
Especially on that album. That's one of those albums that, like, if I'm feeling bad, if I'm like feeling stressed out or depressed or anything like that, I put that album, and it's the perfect amount of emotional roller coaster to bring you through almost anything. So,
and that's what music should be for. Like, music helps you get through so much stuff. Like, and
it really does.
Yeah, I'm on my way home tonight. Like, I got out of work, I was a little stressed out. I put my music on. And I noticed, like, halfway on the drive home, I was smiling like an idiot.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely. And I listen to a lot of reggae. And reggae to me has become almost like a meditation because it's just this real like tribal, like like beats,
right?
Really simple, but there's just something about it that by a song or two in, you're just smiling and you're feeling that the three little birds.
There's a lot of great world music that does that too.
Yes. Yeah, and again, hopefully, next time I'll pull out some other stuff, the stuff we're talking about and stuff. But because again, I just pulled, but this I had to pull out. I have probably about 150 of the 12-inch DJ singles, so I had to pick one.
Right.
Yeah.
I picked the Eric B. and Rakim "Don't Sweat the Technique" 12-inch with. Whole bunch of remixes, and that's it, just that one song, but a whole bunch of remixes and stuff. And these are something I've really liked going after because these are usually beat to hell. So to find one that's actually in decent condition is.
I used to buy a lot of that kind of stuff back in the day too, when it was just one song, but it would be like 5 tracks of the one song with different arrangements of it. Yeah,
that's what this is. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 versions of "Don't Sweat the Technique," which is a classic. So, and I've got LL Cool J and Run DMC, and we got a Will Smith in there, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. So, but they're really fun, and they're not usually that expensive, $10 to $20 for one of those, if it's in good shape. So, here's the last one. For my normal stack, for my 10. And this I pulled out because of a conversation we were having in the back.
Oh.
And this is one of my favorite orchestral soundtracks. and that is the 2018 Halloween. Again, another really cool. You know, you got Lori and him on the back.
Right. And John Carpenter. People don't know that he is a trained musician.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of his own soundtrack work.
Yeah, and has worked with some amazing musicians. Like a lot of people hate Ghosts of Mars, but to me,
I watch it.
I love Ghosts of Mars, and the soundtrack is John Williams with Megadeth. So it's like, So yeah, he's an amazing musician. My neighbor's actually been getting into his newer releases that are not movie related. It's just him making soundtracks.
And he does tours. He does just music tours where he plays.
Shatner was getting pretty rugged by this one, but not as bad as the next movie, the Halloween Kills that came out after this. His mask, like for some reason, his mask looked worse.
Now, did you ever see the John Carpenter video from that he made with his band for
I don't think I have.
What's the one? Oh my gosh. Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, I do know the soundtrack, but yeah,
so 80s.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing for me. Like, I'm a huge horror movie fan, so to me, John Carpenter is like one of the Mount Rushmores. You know, without him, we wouldn't have slashers as we know them. You know, and to me, the original Halloween is a near perfect movie. I have a hard time giving a perfect movie.
You know, it's funny you say that because out of all the John Carpenter films, that's probably my least favorite.
A lot of people feel that way, but I just, I don't know what it. I think there's something about. I grew up watching Westerns with my dad,
right?
And there's something about it that has a Western feel to the pacing. It's a slow burn. It's a very slow burn. There's the long shots outside, and you know that it's Southern California, not Ohio. But I don't know. That and Jaws to me are two of the near perfect movies.
And see, and I'm not a big Jaws guy either. And everybody, so there's three big movies that people love in horror that I just think,
Yeah,
Exorcist, Jaws, and Halloween. All of them, I'm like,
Yeah, I'm not.
I do like John Carpenter's vampires.
That's actually like kind of a guilty pleasure for me. I like that one. It's
for a fun video. The name of his group that did the Big Trouble in Little China song is the Coupe de Villes.
The Coupe de Villes.
Yes.
No, I will definitely check that out. And
watch that video. It's fun, but I mean, it's dated.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm telling you about it is that guitarist is the guy that plays Michael Myers.
Dance with the Dead. Okay, well, thanks, Norrin. Yeah. No, his soundtracks are amazing. And the thing is that
Brad's gonna get canceled.
What's that?
He said the thing.
Hey,
you get yourself canceled, sir.
You gave me hot takes. I'll give you hot takes. I don't like the thing.
Yeah, it's been a good show, guys. We're about to wrap up.
Yeah, them's fighting words, Tate. On Gary's show.
But I still
watch that 3 to 5 times a week. I'm not even kidding.
It's something that I think that kind of passed me over when I was younger. And then so in like the 90s, all of a sudden everyone's like, it's the best horror movie ever. It's the best horror movie ever. And I've watched almost every horror movie ever made up until more recently where people just release anything. And I don't know. It was the puppetry, even though I love practical effects but we're allowed that because I also didn't like The Exorcist. I think The Exorcist is like watching.
That just bores me to tears.
It's like watching the Muppets.
Right.
Like
at no point in The Exorcist did I feel any tension at all.
Yeah,
except,
right. When you think
about when would it end?
But when you think about the music, as soon as you hear that music, you know exactly.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't have any complaints about the music.
The music, is like
Tubular Bells.
Yeah, just bing, you're right there.
No, and there's great parts about it, but it's just I think that with The Exorcist, it was really about timing. because the people that were seeing it in the theaters obviously had never seen anything like that. So
Oh,
by the time that I had seen it,
when it came out, there were people like passing out in the aisles.
Well,
That
and
was-
the same thing with the thing though. No one had ever seen creature effects
Right.
like that, and you never actually got to know what the creature really looked like.
Well, think about the first release of the thing back in the 50s.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
Like, I mean,
Desi,
you
yeah, and
never
I
really
actually,
even.
I like that one, but it's not that I don't like the thing. It's more of that of his movies. It's just lower.
Yeah.
I just have other movies of his.
and the Fog. I'm another big fan of.
I love the
I
Fog.
love the Fog. What I love about him though is he knows how to create tension without excessive. Like I don't
Yeah.
mind gore if it's called for, but sometimes
Mm-hmm.
gore is just there for the sake of gore and it doesn't add to anything.
Absolutely.
But John, like, there's no blood in Halloween.
It's just
Yeah.
it's the mood. It's the
Yeah.
Right.
Our brains can create way worse horrors than anybody can.
Right.
Put
oh yeah.
There's no blood in the Fog.
Yeah.
I think the thing is one of the few movies that has blood in it, but it's not in a killing type of way either. It's just in
And spraying around as they morph.
And changing, yeah.
So I'm down to my 1 and 1. And
All right,
if I remember right, the format is one with a story.
Yep.
And then one that we spec on. So I'm gonna do
it in any order you want.
I'm gonna do my best at the spec, which I think I pulled kind of a cool spec because I didn't even know about it for years.
Ooh.
So, but this is the one with a story. Oh, let me pull these out. And these are, I can't even play these. These are the old big platters, the ones that are about twice as thick as a normal album.
Wow.
But this was one my dad played for me when I was a kid.
Nice.
And this is Sparky's Magic Piano.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
So it's an old 78.
Yeah, they're
I've never even heard of that one, Tate.
It's a story about a kid that's not feeling so great about himself, and he's got a piano that talks through a harmonica. Basically, it's a person talking through a Sparky, and you hear it come through the harmonica. But yeah, it's the
thick 78.
Yeah, it's the thick 78s. So
nice.
I can play them. They just don't sound great on a modern turntable. But yeah, so this is, this was probably a bedtime story at times. It was something that I would just listen to. And there was something very magical about somebody talking through a microphone.
Cool.
Or I'm sorry, a harmonica. And I didn't realize what it was, but to me, I was like, oh, that's the coolest thing ever.
Right.
So
very cool.
Yeah. And this is not my original copy. I found an original copy, and sadly the 78 is the only thing I can find. Because I have no idea where my original copy was. So thank you, eBay.
Right.
Yeah. Buying back my childhood.
I was going to say, though, how great is that, though? Because I know when you put that on, it immediately transports you back.
It does. It does. It's, and sometimes you got to be a little careful. It may bring you back to a place you don't want to go, but,
right.
So this is going to be my spec album. And so if you find this album, definitely pick it up. It's very unknown. I've talked to many fans. They have no idea. This is a soundtrack for a movie called Zabriskie Point.
Huh.
And the soundtrack is done by Pink Floyd.
Really?
Yes. It is, let's see.
I had never heard of that.
Pink Floyd, Grateful Dead, Youngbloods. Yeah, no, but it's like, I still haven't seen the movie. I have a feeling that the movie was not great, but because I think we would have heard of the soundtrack.
Right.
Yes. Disney Halloween.
Now, you did something rare here. You sent Mark Andrews to the eBay. Look at him look.
Oh,
I'm not on eBay. I'm going to Discog trying to find it.
Yeah, it's Zabriskie Point, which was kind of, I think that at the time was like a park where there was a big protest or something in the 60s. So they ended up making a movie, and it's good luck.
I don't even see that on Discog, which is really rare.
Yeah, it's this one. I'm gonna say that this album probably took me about 10 to 12 months to find.
Wow.
and it's not even a great copy. It's got like a little like grease staining on the back and stuff. But the thing is that if you find one of these in like near new condition, like really good condition, you're looking at like $400.
Wow.
So because of the fact that it's basically lost Pink Floyd music.
Wow.
And that cover has like My Blue Lagoon vibes to it.
It does, but then there's also like the weird
vibe.
like smoke, like the psychedelic stuff that everyone was doing. But yeah, and I love the old records where you flip it over and you've got your reading for the day.
Yep.
Weird. Because back on here, they literally run down the movie. They talk about the making of the music. And these are like Heartbeat Pygmy, which is not a song that's on any other Pink Floyd album. So yeah, it's I thought that I didn't know if I was going to be able to do a spec album. And there are a couple other people that I can, like 21 Pilots is somebody I didn't show today. Their albums are worth a ton. There's certain one, Tool, some of the early Tool stuff, especially like when they were limited releases, are very, very expensive. So, and I've still got a box of 60 sitting in front of me. I've got boxes over there. So that's it for today, though.
So I'm looking as the risky point on eBay. You can get it anywhere from $40 right now, and I'm not counting shipping, of course.
Yeah,
no.
Well, you can get it. It's regularly anywhere from 40 to 80 right now on eBay. American.
Okay, so yeah, it's probably. I think like everything, stuff comes down in price. And because when I was looking for that record, eBay was like, "We've never heard of that." It was really fun though. It's if you like comics, if you like collecting comics, collecting records is very similar, especially depending and there's something to collect for everybody.
Right.
You can go, you can go way back and get you can get the like phonograph records. Or you could, or the old cylinders, and you can come all the way up to the modern day. And
come on, you preempted me. I was just going to make an old cylinder joke about Mark, and you.
Hey. You want me to go get them? Anyway, I did find it finally on Discog, and it's kind of interesting. 1970, 2 MGM pressings. And a pressing also in Germany.
Now I wonder what pressing I have.
Now you need a German one. You have to get all the pressings now. Tate.
Fellow collectors a little too well, because that's exactly what just went through my head. I went, yeah.
It's like other printings of comics, right?
Yeah.
It is. There's another pressing.
Yeah. And if that means that there's a first. Now I've got to look too and see which one I have. Hopefully it's the first.
Yeah.
Because I don't think
they're very close together. The two pressings are both in the 70s, and they're not like, I don't know why there was two. But there's
it must have gotten popular.
For them to do two pressings in the same year.
Right.
Could have been where it could those things. It's weird. Sometimes they were doing them for supply and different outlet or manufacturers in the country, particularly in the States. Like they press some over on the East Coast and they press some on the West Coast, all under the same. But
yeah, and the other thing you said, both of the pressings were from the same company, right?
Yeah, same company and
very,
the same
very
year.
rare. Yeah, because usually a second pressing of a record is farmed out.
Yeah.
Even on some of the newer stuff, like if you get some 21 Pilot stuff, it'll be on Warner Music. Some of it's going to be on Fueled by Ramen, which is so it's but no, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, if you go to Discog Records, you can find all kinds of really cool stuff, and it's just DISCOGS, and you get in there and you go down rabbit holes, and you suddenly are going to spend more money than you should.
I've been known to do that. Yeah, Discog is especially, and if you're somebody that's wanting to get into vinyl collecting, you don't really know your stuff yet, you haven't quite learned yet. Discogs is really good because if you go there and search for an album, it'll show you all pressings, including bootleg pressings.
Yep, including bootleg. Absolutely.
And it'll say this album was printed in Great Britain, but it wasn't pressed from the masters. It was pressed from a 5-track or whatever.
Yeah, or something.
So
cool.
Yeah. So I mean, there is some things to learn, but just like comics, it's really fun learning.
Oh, it is. That's the fun that I love doing that. Like trying to figure it out. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's just listed as psychedelic rock.
Yeah. But yeah, on here on the front it says featuring music from the Grateful Dead, the Kaleidoscope, which may be like a super group, the Youngbloods, and Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd's got like 3 or 4 tracks, so they're the But and it's just
Patty Page is on it too.
Really.
No, there's something that you're not going to see every day. Patty Page and the Pink Floyd and the Grateful Dead on the same album. Yeah,
and I'll show it again. This is the album that we're talking about. It's
very cool.
1970 psychedelic movie. Maybe someday I'll watch it, but I was more interested in the music.
Right.
Very cool.
Oh, great selection, man.
Yeah, so, nice eclectic selection. I liked it.
Right.
Yeah. Again, if I come back and do a second one, it's going to be totally different stuff. So, but yeah, I love it. I don't love the price that vinyl has climbed to, but it's like anything. If those prices are going up, it means that the industry's healthy.
Yeah.
Right. And it's kind of like comics, right? It's a format that won't die.
Yeah.
It's always people love their vinyl like we love our paper books.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can you can see when somebody does an outstanding job on a record too. It's kind of like that cover buys.
Yeah.
When they do the extras, when it's not just a single platter with a white sleeve, you're just it's like Jack White of the White Stripes.
Right.
Bought the entire catalog for an old Detroit record company and has been slowly releasing those. He's got a booth in his store that you can go in, and it's an old booth from like the 40s when you go in and you sing and it prints it out and spits it out. He's done cool. great things for vinyl.
Very cool.
So
Dark Tower board game, huh?
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but great records, man. That was fun just seeing all those. Nice. And I always love seeing the different album designs, like the cover art and the interior art is always amazing on albums. Mm-hmm. It's just fun. And it's as different as art in any other medium. It's just, it's so varied, it's so eclectic, and it's always to a specific taste depending on what the music is. And but great selection, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was really fun. Like I said to these guys earlier, I don't really get to show off my records very much. I'm in a comic community, so
right. Well, get your next 12 ready, and I'll have you on sooner rather than later.
Yeah, man, we shall do it.
Because I like seeing more and more people's collections. It's always fun.
It is, yeah. Well, and it's funny too because I know some collectors are like, "No, you don't know anything I have." I'm like, no, I kind of want to show you what I have, and then if you like it, maybe you'll go grab it,
right?
And I've got it's just like comics. We've got to keep creating fans of it, so that it continues to go because it's I hope it's undying. So,
right, and we all have those people that we listen to or those books that we read that nobody else does, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, if you just gave it a chance,
No, it's I'll put the one I pulled out earlier. This was because I pulled it out because I'm like, nobody knows who the Meat Men are.
Oh, what a great cover that is! Though.
That's a great cover.
Huh?
But I didn't think anyone would know who the Meat Men are. So it
doesn't matter. That screams underground music right there.
Does it ever?
Yeah. and yeah, really wacky, pretty profane 80s punk band. So
Nothing. Oh, and Brad remembers that one. Oh no, so he's talking to Paul. Sorry.
yeah,
No, he's talking to Paul. He doesn't remember that album.
Right. Oh, good stuff, man.
so.
I like seeing the odder the better for me. I always like seeing stuff that I didn't know existed. It's
I'll
just
try
fun.
and next time when I come on, I'll try to make it so that they're more. I don't think I have anything like Zabriskie Point, but I definitely have some other stuff that people, that's why I put in that first Billie Eilish album. Because I'm like, well, a lot of people don't even know that album exists. So
No.
You got Brad saying, "Cool show, Tate."
thank you, Bor, man. I appreciate that, man.
But yeah, awesome. So we're gonna do our normal thing. We're gonna go around, see what everybody's got going. So, Mark, are you appearing on Joe's channel anytime soon?
No, we just did a espresso mail call on Friday night last, and if you haven't seen it, go check the rewind because there was some very cool things on there by a bunch of us showing off our latest pickups on the espresso mail call. And I got nothing in the books except apparently I might be doing this show with you in April.
Yep, April 1st, April Fool's Day.
Heck
There
yeah.
you go. What better guest than me on April Fool's Day?
Right, and we're gonna do. Let me make you big so you can tell them what we're gonna do and why it's different.
Why it's different?
Well, Mark's toys, like people aren't familiar with them as
no.
much.
So we're going to do a 10-1-1 with the Travado clause fully engaged, and we're going to show off some Mark's toys from the 60s and 70s, mainly sticking with the action figures from the day, which were the 12-inch and actually 9-inch, and just that was Mark's was a huge toy company in the States. Was pumping out toys for years and years and years, and they came out with some pretty cool stuff when you realize the years that they came out when they did. So
nice. And of course, Tate, what's coming up for you, sir? Anything?
No, right now we're trying to collect all the payments on Kickstarter, and once that's all done, then we're shipping off to press. So that's my biggest thing right now is fulfillment, making sure these comics all arrive to you guys, and yeah, that's I think that's about it. I don't have any shows. I might do another show here, more records. God knows I have them.
Right. Nice.
So,
well, you'll definitely do another show. I'll get you some dates and you can pick.
Sounds great. Yeah, and I've got my so this is something else I never get to show off. I do too have a sticker wall. So
nice.
It's a sticker door, and I don't like conformity. So so many people's sticker walls are so nice in a frame and all this stuff. Nice. Bobby comes in singing. Hell yeah.
Now, I'd like to see I bet Bobby's got a record collection. Bobby, let me know in the comments if you got a record collection, sir.
Yeah, anyone out there with record collections, come out. I mean, obviously, this format is flexible, and I'd love to see them too. I'd love.
And I haven't had Bobby on in a while. I'd like to get Bobby back on. But coming up for me on Thursday, we have 2 Thursdays in a row. We got horror shows. This Thursday we have K-pop Junkie, and Tate, if you want to join us as a co-host and be here with Katie, you can.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have Actual Dracula the next Thursday.
Nice. A couple great shows coming up.
Yep.
Nice.
The 11th, I had a cancellation, so I got to try to get another guest for next Tuesday. We'll see how that goes. It's a rough year for people, man. A lot of stuff is happening to people.
Yeah,
it's been a crazy year for some.
We started off strong with those fires down in LA, man. We started, and then planes have been dropping out of the sky, and oh man, everybody out there, take care of each other, give people hugs, let them know that you're there for them, because it's.
Yep.
You may be having a hard year, but the person next to you may be having it harder. So. 10-1-1 with
right.
My first appearance in juvie court was
right.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Drax got some vinyl.
Right? Oh, don't worry, Drac. We'll
There
get
you
you
go.
on for all of it. We'll do your horror, then we'll do your vinyl.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Don't get too excited, Paul. He drinks milk out of a bag. Those crazy Canadians.
Hey, it's easy to transport, man. And when it freezes hard, it hurts when you get hit with it.
Oh, I bet.
Well, Bobby, get a hold of me on IG, sir. I do have a cancellation for next Tuesday. If you want to come on and do a show, you can pick the theme. Let me know.
There you go.
Oh, he's graduated to cartons. Who's a big boy? No, just kidding. Now I'm gonna have to get some flack from Drac for that now.
Yeah, I have a feeling he drinks his poutine out of a carton too. So
Hey, anybody who's drinking poutine is doing it wrong. Like, don't be talking about one of the national dishes like that.
I can't even make fun of poutine. Poutine is so good.
It's something that I really, really want to try.
Poutine is.
This just confirmed we have Bobby De La Ghetto on the 11th. He's going to fill the cancellation for me.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Maybe. Mark, you haven't met him yet, so if you're free, let me know, and I won't look for another host. I'll just have you back.
I will check the calendar, Gary.
And let's see. Used to have my mother's. Oh yeah, we had a ton of would shatter if you drop them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, well,
they absolutely would.
Definitely too much gravy. So one of my I went with some friends drinking in Vermont, right? And it's cobblestone where we went. I mean, Burlington. Okay. So they have a whole cobblestone section. No cars are allowed.
Mm.
And we went over there specifically to drink. And all we drank was whiskey and stouts that night. So I woke up with the worst cotton mouth I'd ever had in my life. I could barely open my mouth. But
I'm probably really hungry.
We were so blasted, and we were walking down Burlington, and we all had big old containers of poutine, and that gravy was lava hot. I think I still woke up. I woke up the next day with still burn marks on my face from that poutine. But man, so never go out and just drink stouts and whiskey. It'll dry you up.
Well, you're doing it wrong then if it dries you up. Anyway.
Right,
like real stouts and real whiskeys, but we won't get into that.
Yeah, so we'll look in the future for Mark's 1011 whiskey edition.
Yeah, well, I could. Yeah, no, I'm not even going to talk about my Scotch collection.
There you go. But you know what would be fun if we did that, right? For everyone, Mark would have for every show.
Oh Jesus!
The 1011, you'd have to do a shot of it. Oh. See how blasted he'd be by the end.
Yeah, it's so blasted.
Right? By the 8th one. And I never really liked you guys anyway.
Yeah, and thanks, Mark, for coming out, man.
No, thanks for having me or letting me. I always have fun when Gary asks me, and it was just worked out great that I could do it tonight. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
good collection.
And great show. And of course, it's always great having Mark on, whether it's a guest or a co-host. Tate, I mean, we're gonna have to make you kind of semi-regular at some point. But great show, guys. Thank you to everyone in the audience that was here. We really appreciate you guys watching. And Draxon for stouts and whiskey. But as always, thank you to everyone out there. If you're catching us on the rewind, we hope you enjoyed the show. We try to have nothing but the best people in the community on here, and you get to see what they love and what their passions are. Because, I mean, that's what collecting's all about. For those of us that are on here, it's not always about the money. It's about the love of what you have.
Yep.
And that's just it. But thank you all so much for coming out. As we like to end this show, we're going to give it a very hearty, keep it casual, and we're going to play ourselves out.
Night.